Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. I'm going to do the top 10 list of commons and uncommons that were not reprinted in Modern Masters 2. But 10 is really not doing it justice. There is so many cards that missed the Modern Masters 2 reprint that are in very, very popular decks that are going to spike. And I am a huge fan of penny stocks. What I mean by that, as far as Magic is concerned, is commons and uncommons. If you go on a lot of my history of TCG Player and Puga Trade and eBay, things like that, I've sold a ton of commons and uncommons, or traded away a ton of commons and uncommons for rares and mythics, because one of the things that I do is that I used to do when I lived in a more populated area, I would buy people's commons and uncommons at bulk rate. I personally pay $3 per thousand. I know some people pay $4 per thousand, and there was even a time that I paid 1 cent per uncommon from certain sets. I was doing that a lot in M11. M11 had a lot of commons and uncommons that were worth a lot, so I would just say I'd pay the 0.3 cents per common and 1 cent per uncommon. I get a lot of drafters that would just unload their commons and uncommons. Now, it is a lot of work to sort through it, but for me, the sorting sometimes is just, it's kind of relaxing. I can pop on some music. Well, I would pop on Groove Shark, but now they shut Groove Shark down. But anywho, I'd pop on some music and then just sort, and it'd be really relaxing to me. So anyway, I have always had an interest in commons and uncommons because you'd be quite surprised at how quickly they can go up in value, because people do not have them in binders and they just get lost, and then the demand for them is quite high. So we're going to look at all the cards that from the modern sets that missed the mark, and then go through and see if they're able to, what I think they'll do as far as price value. And again, this list is quite substantial. I started writing them down. I've got this notepad here. It's completely full. So instead, I'm just going to go down with you from each set. So we'll start off with the new Phyrexia. So we're going to skip all the Dark Ascension, Innistrad, and M12 because they were ineligible. Other than M12 does have some cool cards here. There's like this Timely Reinforcements does seem very, very lucrative right now. If you have any 2012, definitely check your trash for goblin, for your draft garbage for like goblin grenades and timely reinforcements, because again, look at and spirit mantle as well. All these see pretty decent play. There's a goblin deck in modern, sees play every now and again. It just won a 4-0 on MTGO. That was pretty sweet. And timely reinforcements and spirit mantle do see play. Spirit mantle and Boggles, and timely reinforcements is a great sideboard card against burn. So let's just start off here with New Phyrexia. New Phyrexia is definitely a set that I think there's a lot of cards that are going to go up in value. They did a good job of hitting like these Phyrexian mana symbols as far as Dismember, Dispatch, Gut Shot. They're all going to be reprinted. But one of them that they did miss is Beast Within. This card has been printed quite a bit in various sets. There has been, well, I guess not. I swear there was in a couple more dual decks. Or Commander. Maybe not. I know it was in this Heroes versus Monsters, but New Phyrexia, and then I guess in Planeshapes 2012. I swear there was a couple more printings. Someone's got to correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought there was like another Commander deck that had it in it. But so there's Beast Within. Beast Within is found in Living End. It is also found in, I played it in my Tooth and Nail deck. I also played it in my Forbidden Orchard deck. It's just Green's way of removing problematic cards. And the more problematic a card becomes in Standard, the more Beast Within will see play in those green decks, sideboard slot or mainboard slot. Again, it's mainly for the decks that don't have access to Path to Exile or to like a card like Terminate or Dismember or something. So every deck has access to Dismember, but Beast Within is sometimes not a big issue, especially like the green Stomp deck that I have. If I make them get a 3/3, who cares? Everything in my deck's going to be bigger than a 3/3. I'm going to be able to trade favorably and destroy one of their permanents. Cool thing about Beast Within is you can use it to lock out lands as well. So, anywho, Beast Within is on my short list for cards to round up and then trade off once they start to spike. This could easily hit $4 before I see it reprinted again. The one thing that I have noticed about Magic though is they are Wizards of the Coast is very it's easy for them to reprint commons and uncommons again in like we saw like 4 Explorers I think in the last Kiora versus Elspeth deck. So you see stuff like that. They can sometimes go all out. Like, I started stockpiling Explorers because I really thought that Summer Bloom was going to get banned, and then Explorer would be like the go-to card for Amy the Bloom. And then that stupid QR deck came out, and then it just kind of, my hopes for Explorer ever going up are killed for quite a while. Anyway, so other uncommons and other notable uncommons that were not reprinted would be the Glistener Elf. Again, they didn't want Infect. This sees heavy play. Infect is one of those decks that you would consider tier 1 or tier 2. And it is one of the staple pieces. And another one that's not here is Blighted Agent. Blighted Agent is currently only for a quarter. And Blighted Agent is usually used in the blue-green deck as the other go-to Infect card for the set. So if you have any Glistener Elves and Blighted Agents, separate them from your bulk. They could be the next like Forked Bolt. If Infect wins a Pro Tour or wins a Grand Prix, these cards could spike like crazy in value. And Glistener Elf has a lot of room to grow. It's got a good 300% growth easily. I could see this to be a $2 uncommon if Infect does take off. And I think one of the reasons, and maybe I'm starting to go back on what I said about Inkmoth Nexus, even though the Inkmoth Nexus is stabilizing at $25, and we're already starting to see it kind of slide back down to its true demand, which I think at the point it right now is around $17 to $18 is what I call the true demand, what people that will pay for it that need it for a deck. But the one thing that is going to make Infect a lot easier is the accessibility of the Noble Hierarch. Now, I never thought that Noble Hierarch was absolutely a necessity for Infect, but it does make the deck go a lot quicker by being able to first turn Noble Hierarch, or even second turn Noble Hierarch off of a Glistener Elf first turn, and then attack in for 2 Infect, and then turn 3 go for the kill with the amount of mana that you have from the Noble Hierarch and the other lands you've played. So Noble Hierarch is going to make the deck a lot more accessible, which you might see a lot of newer players get into it, because now they can get into a deck that only costs like $300 to $400, rather than something like the other tier 1 decks that are going to be around $700, $800. And one of the reasons why Burn is so popular is because it's cheap. You can get into Modern for relatively $200 and have a very complete deck that can compete with basically any deck in the format. So I think Infect might go that same route. So Glistener Elf is a great pickup right now. Great thing to go look through new Phyrexia cards and separate the Blighted Agents and the Glistener Elf. Now we have Gitaxian Probe as well, did not get reprinted. A lot of people are speculating that it's, well, no, it was on the, like, I personally hate Gitaxian Probe. I want to see it banned. I think it's too efficient in the format. It's a free token for like Young Pyromancer. It's a free card in the graveyard for Storm. It's a free 2 damage to yourself for the deck, the Suicide Zoo. It's just, there's so many decks that it's very Delver. It's a free card it basically says Tassiger's mana cost is reduced by 1, or Angler's mana cost is reduced by 1, and it's just there's too much upsides to Gitaxian Probe and not enough downside to Gitaxian Probe, and it's just, I don't know if it deserves a ban. I just personally can't stand the card. It also gives your opponent information, which is so, every other color, I guess it can go in any deck, but these blue decks start to use it, and blue decks, like, they can do the most with, especially Twin, does the most with information. If Twin knows that you have absolutely no Path to Exile, for example, to go off, they can just safely go off with Splinter Twin. And Gitaxian Probe is a free card. 2 damage for infinite knowledge that you can just win is huge in a format. And I just don't like Gitaxian Probe. I think that if you want information, you should have to cost more than just 2 life, whether it be a blue mana at sorcery speed or even instant speed is a lot less of a problem than a free on the turn that they're going to, like end of turn or turn 3, they can Gitaxian Probe you, and then you only have 1 draw. If they see you don't have removal for Splinter Twin, then you have 1 draw, and then they can just, safely try to go off if they see you don't have it. So anyway, Gitaxian Probe, I think, will at $3.20. It doesn't really have much room after this to grow before I think it sees a reprint. Well, I don't know. It's been forever since Serum Vision has seen a reprint, though. So Vapor Stag and Mutagenic Growth were both reprinted, so those prices will go way down. Mirrodin Besieged has 1 card in it, Go for the Throat, which is interesting. You see a lot of people play this. I personally don't like it. I think Doomblade is better. Well, I don't know. Go for the Throat it can kill Tassiger, and it can also kill Olivia, and it can also kill Angler. So maybe Go for Throat is better than Doomblade right now, but the thing that Go for Throat can't do is kill any Affinity cards. And Affinity used to be a bigger problem than Grixis Delver, but now you'd probably think that Grixis Delver is a little bit better than Affinity, so maybe Go for Throat is a go-to removal card for some of the black decks. So it's up to $2.65. That's pretty big. I know that Commander cards play. A card that also is like 75 cents for God knows what reason is Murder from 2014, M14. So that it's just some of these removals, I guess it's just like the casual appeal that really spikes these up. And Go for the Throat. Definitely go check your Mirrodin Besieged cards to see if you have any, because $2.50, that's pretty deep. You can trade these away for like Outpost Sieges right now. Outpost Siege is $1.75. So you get out of commons like Go for the Throat and get into cards like Outpost Siege that are seeing some eternal playability in modern decks and a lot of Commander decks. And even in Standard right now, come post-rotation, a card like Outpost Siege could go back up to its heydays of $4 or $5 after, you know, when people start opening Battle of Zendikar packs and now they need Outpost Sieges for whatever deck. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of money in commons and uncommons that it's just free for whoever wants to do it. It's, you know, it can be some grindy work to sort through a lot of cards, but you can make some pretty decent amount off of, like, I've told stories how I paid for a whole Grand Prix one time off Flint Hoof Boars, and another time I paid for an entire Grand Prix off Shattering Sprees. So definitely there is some use to commons and uncommons. Now, Scars of Mirrodin has some pretty sweet cards too. Ichorclaw Mirror is a great one. It's another one that was not reprinted. And Necropede to some amount of points is another Infect card. The Ichorclaw Mirror is the one that is used in most of the Infect lists. If not a sideboard card, they do run it main board. And same with Necropede. So again, check for those and set those aside. But the card I really want to talk about is Memnite. Memnite is $1. And I know it's really ripe for being reprinted in a lot of theme decks. Like, it's easy to throw into anything. It's easy to throw into another standard set. And as we did just see, like, Ornithopter printed in the last core set. But core sets are going away, so it leaves Memnite a little bit harder since it is a block specific. The Memnite is from the Mirrodin block, so it might be a little bit harder to justify throwing it in any sort of standard set, as the lore just doesn't match up. But and Memnite's heavily played. I think that this is a good card. Uncommon wise, it did see like a game day promo, I think is what it was, but those are very few compared to, you know, the demand for it. So I do expect Memnite to go up to $1.50, $2. So definitely go through your Scars and see if you have any Ichorclaw Mirrors, Memnites, Necropedes. Those are the ones that I would target to really set aside. So we go on to M11. M11 has, like, Lula's Caress. It doesn't see the most amount of play. Relentless Rats, again, those are more casual stuff. Cultivate, but Pyretic Ritual, if Storm ever comes back in, it is $1, and that could easily go up, so definitely check that. Rise of Eldrazi is packed full of goodness. All right, so one of the huge cards that was not reprinted that already is starting to see a spike is Inquisition of Kozilek. You know what? Between the Path of Exiles and Inquisition of Kozileks, that modern event deck is not looking too shabby if you can pick it up for $45, $50. You can get your value just from the Inquisitions and Paths, and even Elspeth and Sword of Feast and Famine are starting to recover. So, again, you can still find those for around $50 on eBay for the Modern Masters. And so someone that wants to a play set of, I think there's 3 Inquisitions in that deck, I'm not sure. But if they need Paths and Inquisitions, that's an easy way to pick them up. I also like the Forked Bolt. Forked Bolt has been going down. It hit $6 at one point. I think it was up to $8 at one point. Forked Bolt was the anti-Delver, anti-Young Pyromancer strategy, and guess what? Guess what's another big factor in the metagame right now is Grixis Delver. So Forked, I definitely think you should pick up your Forked Bolts. It was not reprinted, and we have seen that card spike. Wall of Omens is another card that did not see print. You see that every once in a while in like white control or white tempo, white mid-range type decks. It's a great target with the Restoration Angel, a great target with Sun Titan. It's around $2. It's been going up pretty steadily for the past while. And I think that go sort those. Rise of Eldrazi, again, has, look at an $8 uncommon, a $3 uncommon, a $2 uncommon, a couple other ones. We did see, I think it was Artisan or Pathraiser. I think one of them was, Pathraiser might not have been reprinted, but there's also Draga Tree Speaker. And then in the common route, Ancient Stirrings was not reprinted. They did a different one, a look at top 5 cards for a creature, and not Ancient Stirrings, which is kind of weird. So it's around $1, and this does see play in Tron. Distortion Strike also was not reprinted. It seems heavily play in Infect, so it's another card that if you think Infect, because of the accessibility of Noble Hierarch, is going to go up in value. The Umbers are really good too. Spider and Hyena are Boggles. If Boggles sees play, then these cards can definitely spike in value. Again, that deck becomes a lot more accessible due to the fact that its most expensive card is being reprinted in Daybreak Coronet. Let me also tell you how pissed off I am about Daybreak Coronet in Modern Masters 2. It needs a reprint. That's not the problem. I was scouring the lists of Modern Masters 2. There's very few auras. Daybreak Coronet's a god-awful rare, and I know I was playing around. There's a... I'll have to find the link for it, but there's a site that lets you mock draft, like look at pools you would get, or mock sealed. And I did a mock seal of Modern Masters, and I had a foil Daybreak Coronet and 2 normal Daybreak Coronets. And then the only auras I had in my entire thing besides that were Pillory of the Sleepless, which is a negative aura that you put on an opponent's creature. So there would be 3 rares in my pool that I could not use. They did not print enough white or green auras in Modern Masters 2 to make it viable. So Daybreak Coronet literally is a dead card. And like some of the justification for Wizards for why not reprinting certain cards is like, well, it just didn't fit in the set. It just wasn't a good limited strategy. Daybreak Coronet's terrible. It's completely awful. You cannot even play it. You do not have enough auras in the entire set to make it work. And they put it in there. But I know that's going to be my luck, is I'm going to get 2 Daybreak Coronets at Modern Masters 2, and I'm like, great. Great, here's 2 dead cards. Now, for some miracle, the very few aura cards that are in the set, we get enough of them. Yes, and it is a bomb for limited, but I just looked the list. There's nothing. There's just not. Let's just check it out. There's just nothing. Nothing is in the form of either green auras or white auras to make it playable. We have, yeah, look, 0 common auras out of green. Are you joking? Yeah. Oh, this is worse than I thought. I was just looking at my pools. I just generated a couple pools to see if there was any auras. So green has 0 auras. And, arrest. Wait, that's a negative aura. Are you... Oh, man. This might be the biggest fail of all time that Wizards is... Yep, 0 white auras. You've got to be kidding me. So, enchant creature with another aura attached to it. Daybreak Coronet has to enchant something that's already enchanted. And it doesn't even have anything in white to support it. This is the biggest fail of a rare ever. Biggest fail. We should all be outraged by this. So yes, go Twitter it at Rosewater and say, what the hell? Are you? Yeah, you gotta be joking me. And Boggles is would be a nice little limited strategy. First of all, I don't think there's any hexproof cards either. Does blue have any auras? Apologies if you guys can't see this too. I should probably zoom in here. Oh wow. So yeah, so we have a couple auras. That makes Kami really bad too. Kami of Ancient. There's a creature that destroys an enchantment. Yeah, there's like nothing. There is absolutely nothing. Because we have Pillory of the Sleepless and Arrest that are negative auras. You can't even enchant. Does at least red have something? Do you have a red, black, any auras at all? Well, Wizards, I think you've outdone yourself for stupidity. I think you finally... Oh, you got Splinter Twin! We can enchant something. If we get a Splinter Twin and a Daybreak Coronet in the same pack, in the same sealed, we can actually cast Daybreak Coronet on something. Wow! The one card, the Splinter Twin. You've got to be joking me. Or our other hope is just to try to arrest one of our own dudes and then enchant Daybreak Coronet and then somehow get rid of the arrest off the Daybreak Coronet. Or off the creature that's Daybreak Coroneted. So there's another card in here, the Commune of Ancient Law, destroy target enchantment. So this is going to be our game plan. We're going to arrest our own creature, and then we're going to Daybreak Coronet it, and then we're going to use the Commune of Ancient Law to sacrifice it to destroy our own arrest. And that way we can use 3 cards to get a Daybreak Coronet. Oh, wow, Wizards. Woo! Oh, there's Goblin Warpaint. Never mind, we do have an enchantment aura out of red, so I guess there's that strategy. But I'm not seeing any other auras, especially in white. You think they'd want to support it in white. And or look at this Tarashi. I guess there's enough artifacts to make Tarashi's Grasp worth it. But oh man, and the Vapor Snag exists in the format to make Daybreak Coronet even that much worse. But just utter complete fail by Wizards. I think we'll get back to the list here. Jeez, that is just insane though. Wizards. Fail beyond fail beyond fail of a rare. That limited. I think limited is gonna. I was looking at a lot of my pools in limited for this generator. This website that lets you generate pools, and man, I was getting like foil Elish Norn, and then really no synergy with the damn card. I mean, Elish Norn doesn't need much synergy. It locks out your opponent, but like no token based strategy. It just had, or I had a bunch of creatures that utilized equipment and then 0 equipment in my pool, and it just seems like this Modern Masters is terribly done as far as limited strategy. And I guess we'll have to wait and see. The last one is pretty cool. You could go like a lot of different strategies, Rebels, you could go Storm, you could go Affinity, and it seemed to work out pretty well. All right, so back to the video. This is going to be a long, rambling video. But, so we'll go back to Worldwake. Worldwake has some pretty decent cards in it. I don't think Tectonic Edge was reprinted, but it was reprinted just recently in a lot of Commander sets. Baloth, Leatherback Baloth was not reprinted. Everflowing Chalice was reprinted. Baloth is a nice one. I've been selling a lot of those for about $1.99 lately. I've sold off like 2 play sets of them. Explorer was just recently reprinted, but Groundswell and Searing Blaze, those are 2 cards that I highly suggest you pick up. Again, Infect and Affinity. They're both very linear strategies. They're both easy for new players to get into. And Searing Blaze, especially, that card has been going up like crazy. It was only 25 cents not too long ago. Let me click on this here, and oh geez, and then we will see its trajectory here. All right, Goldfish, quit messing up. I can't even. All right, we'll go over here. Something is screwy with their website. Searing Blaze has been, okay, so it's been a player rewards card, Techless reward, and a dual deck Venser versus Koth. And yeah, wow, not too long ago it was 25 cents, right? Fate Reforged, it was 25 cents. So you've seen that this card has just gone crazy within the past couple of months due to the burn. So that one I definitely suggest you pick up. Let's actually zoom this in for you guys. Then we go to Zendikar itself. Vines of Vastwood was reprinted. Spell Pierce was not, though. So Spell Pierce is a great pickup, and Expedition was also not reprinted. We also have Hedron Crab. Hedron Crab is sitting at $3.54. That's a great one to pick up. And if ever a mill strategy does come into fruition, Hedron Crab is going to be the engine behind it. In Magic 2011, we have not really a lot of stuff that was reprinted. Lightning Bolt was the huge one out of that. I don't think the Lightning Bolt's price is going to change much because it's an uncommon in Modern Masters. And even an uncommon, we saw Lava Spike last time in Modern Masters 1, and it actually didn't really reduce the price much of Lava Spike. So let's go to Alara. Alara has the Mind Funeral does not see much play. Again, it's just more of a casual card. Neither is Wall of Denial, so it's just casual that's been driving that up. So if it does increase, it will just slightly keep increasing because of that. But the two cards that are very good out of that this set is gonna be Kozali Pridemage and Terminate, and neither one of them have been reprinted. Terminate seeing a ton of play in Grixis Delver as well as Cruel Control, and Jund is also starting to use Terminate as it's a way to kill off opposing anglers and opposing. It used to be Abrupt Decay was just your solve everything card, but it's funny with the casting converted mana cost of both Tasigur and the angler is actually a good thing in Modern because it cannot be killed with Abrupt Decay, so they have to use some other way. Of course, they dodge Lightning Bolts because they have toughness greater than 3, and then now they dodge Abrupt Decay. So Terminate, Jund has started to actually put in a couple copies of these just to take care of those sort of cards. It also kills Siege Rhino, which Abrupt Decay does not do. Going to Conflux. Volcanic Fallout was just reprinted in some sort of, I think Volcanic Fallout was just reprinted in something like Commander deck or something. Ancient Ziggurat's a $4 card. That's casual. Path to Exile is not being reprinted. Hellspark Elemental is not being reprinted. Hellspark Elemental, though, is only a card. I personally love it. I don't know why people don't play it in God, I even love it in Delver, other than you want to be delving in Delver. But Hellspark Elemental, as far as burn, a lot of times is 6 damage. I don't think you can beat that. And it's only 2 mana initially to cast a 3/1 with haste, and then you can unearth it. So Hellspark Elemental could see some favor in red decks if they go back more to a creature-based strategy rather than a burn-based strategy. I kind of personally like it better than the Shard Volley, and a lot of people love Shard Volley, even though it's 3 damage and a land they have to kill, or 1 mana and a land they have to kill to do 3 damage. We have the Path to Exile. Reliquary Tower is completely a casual card that is driving up that. But Path to Exile has been spoiled as the July's from Friday Night Magic, but we're all thinking that that's not going to be enough to demand it to decrease the price of Path. They keep releasing Paths like crazy, and same thing with Lightning Bolt's the same thing. Path and Lightning Bolt are used so much in Modern that they really need a heavy reprint rather than just these littler reprints to really affect it. So all the reprints in Path to Exile have just been keeping it at the $7 mark, not really denting it past there. So definitely, if you pick up your F&M promos for Path to Exile, and if they don't reprint it again, it could easily recover. Like the reprint from that's gonna put it down to like $4 or $5, and then I think it will go up after that, because F&M promos these days do really dent like we saw with Stoke the Flames. The Stoke the Flames F&M reprint was a godsend to Stoke the Flames because it really did bring the price down. All right, so we have the next set. We have the not really too much. There is Fate Stitcher, which sees play every once and again in Jeskai Ascendancies and a few, like I like in my Forbidden Orchard. Wild Nikotl definitely is in Suicide Zoo. It's also in all the Zoo decks. It's of course the one of the reasons you call it Zoo is it's a cat. And then Blightning, Relic of Progenitus. I don't think either of those were reprinted. Blightning sees very little play in Modern. Relic of Progenitus actually does see a ton of play, which is also in Modern Masters 1 as a common, though, so keep that in mind. Eventide, we have the Flicker Wisp that did see Modern Masters 1 reprint, but I don't believe in Modern Masters 2. And Raven's Crime wasn't reprinted. Yeah, Slippery Boggle or Raven Crime or Nettle Sentinel were not reprinted in Modern Masters 2, so you have a lot of value you can do with those ones. As Nettle Sentinel starting to see a lot more play in Collected Elves, Raven's Crime sees play every now and again in any sort of Life from the Loam strategy. Slippery Boggle, of course, is the namesake in the Boggles deck, and if that ever see play again, you'll see Slippery Boggle spike up even more to $1.50 to $2. We have then into Shadowmoor. Shadowmoor has a few pretty sweet cards in this one that do see a lot of play. Murder's Redcap starting to see more play in the Collected Company deck. What did see reprint in Modern Masters 1. Kitchen Finks is not reprinted, and this is seeing a lot more play in the Collected Company deck, so at $4, it's actually not bad pickup. And Curse Catcher also was not reprinted. What were they thinking? Another $7 uncommon. is going to continue to go up in value as Legacy Elves or Legacy Merfolk and Modern Merfolk both demand this card in the deck. So Curse Catcher, very, very good card. We have, as far as the commons, there's Smash Smithereens was reprinted, so this card is falling quickly. Seal the Godhead was not. We're starting to see a few decks actually run it. Seal the Godhead was one of the very first decks in Modern. They put it on the Geist of St. Traft, as it gives lifelink and indestructibility. Now you have Hexproof Indestructible lifelink card. And Manamorphose was another card that was not reprinted, so definitely look to that. We have Morningtide. Morningtide has Heritage Druid, which again, collected elves is becoming a thing. And then Shard Volley. Shard Volley is down up to $2 and was not reprinted either. So we have some very, very lucrative cards out of this set. Now let's look at the last little bit. I'll try to go through this quickly, and then we'll look at cards that are seeing. We'll actually go through the decks to see which ones are seeing a lot of play. So 10th edition Treetop Village, I believe, had a reprint recently in a Commander deck. Shatterstorm was this one reprinted recently in a deck? Let me check. No, it was not. So Shatterstorm does have a lot of room to grow, and as it is $3.70. Oh, we need to click back over to paper. Somehow this got messed up over to online. So go back to Lorwyn. Spring the Drum was just recently printed. We have a lot of uncommons out of, like, the Merfolk, the Marrow Regeri. It was not reprinted. I really thought the Merfolk was going to be a strategy. It's up to $4.50. Merfolk is starting to see an influx of players. This is pretty good strategy against Delver decks. And Merfolk really beats up on other aggro / mid-range decks that are fair decks. It does struggle a little bit. It does have some answers to combo decks, but it does struggle a little bit to combo. Then we have, again, the Treetop Village did just see another reprinting. Shatterstorm, though, is a good one to pick up. Rule of Law, if Storm ever becomes big, you can pick it up. And other than that, nothing too juicy out of that set. Future Sight has the, of course, big card. How did they miss Aven Mind Sensor again? This is going to be a $12 card pretty soon. It's up to $10. And yeah, it needs a reprint. Terribly bad. Even though it doesn't see as much Modern play as it used to, it needs a reprint. It's a very, very popular card in other casual formats. Dryad Arbor also did not see a reprint. Is going to continue to go up. So they're both very expensive cards. And Talarian West did not see a reprint. All these at the above $5 make this whole Future Sight set a very good set. And yeah, those could have easily been included. So Modern Masters did a pretty terrible job. I mean, they did hit some cards, Modern Masters 2, but Modern Masters 1 hit a lot more cards than needed to see reprints. Like Simian Spirit Guide's another one in Modern Masters 1 that hit that they did not print in Modern Masters 2. We have not really much out of the uncommons here besides Keen Sense, another card that did not get reprinted. Would have worked perfectly with Daybreak Coronet. I do not understand why they did not support Daybreak Coronet in any way, shape, or form. Time Spiral, we have the Might of Old Krosa, which is $7.52 now. $7.50. Another uncommon that was skipped over, passed over, that they put, alongside the Vines of the Vastwood was reprinted. Might of Krosa was not. And that's huge. These cards, oh man, they've got to hit that Infect deck to bring some of the prices down. But there's still other cards, like, again, Merfolk didn't see its Curse Catcher. Huge fails on uncommons and commons that Modern Masters could have done. And I thought usually that's the point, is to bring down commons and uncommons. Like, because rares bring it down slightly, mythics bring it down not much at all. But when a card is reprinted in the form of uncommon and common, it really does affect their price. Riftbolt, which is in Modern Masters 2, was not reprinted in Modern Masters 1. Coldsnap has some pretty cool cards in it. Mishra's Bauble was not reprinted, up to $9. We have the course Counterbalance is banned, so that does not see a reprint in Modern Masters 2. And we have Lightning Storm that sees play in Ad Nauseam. And other than that, it's just Martyr of Sands that sees a little bit of play in Soul Sisters and in Martyr Proc. And the Snow-Covered Lands did not see a reprint either. It's really the Snow-Covered Mountain that has the demand for Scred Red. Dissension, Utopia Sprawl was not reprinted. It's seeing a lot more play in various decks that want to ramp very quickly and then untap them with like Arbor Elves. Spell Snare was not reprinted. It is back up to $5 card. Guild Pack, we have the Electrolyze did see a reprint, so it's going to go back down. Shattering Spree, I don't believe Shattering Spree did see a reprint, but people are using other cards besides Shattering Spree, and Souls of the Faultless is more of a casual card. We have the Ravnica City of Guilds. We have Remand did see a major reprint, and Congregation of Dawn did not. So Collected Company decks continue to be popular. You can see that card go up. The Aqueduct did get a reprint. Let's go over to the Sleight of Hand actually going up from 9th edition just because it's a card that people can use instead of Serum Visions. $2 doesn't make any sense. There's lands. I was very surprised about this. Did not get a reprint. They're up to like, wow. They're up over $3 a piece now. I did not know that. Summer Bloom did not see a reprint. Neither did Blackmail. Blackmail does not see a lot of play in Modern though. Sabers of Kamigawa, not too much here. We'll skip it. Betrayers of Kamigawa. Flames of Bloodhound has fallen out of favor for Atarka's Command. Sowing Salt, though, is a great pickup. And I'd love to see a Ninja deck actually. It's just on the verge of people actually playing this card in Modern because it's a very powerful card. Go to Champions of Kamigawa. Ghostly Prison, I don't believe saw a reprint in Modern Masters. No, Ghostly Prison did not. And you could actually see Ghostly Prison go up in value. Top is still banned. Hinder not really sees any play in Modern. Squelch either. Squelch every once in a while sees play. Desperate Ritual did not get a reprint, so if Storm comes back, that could actually go up in value. And the Kanama's Reach did get a C reprint in Modern Masters 1, which is still affecting the price. But Lava Spike did not see a reprint, and you can expect that to continue to go up as it is a very, very popular card in Modern. So Serum Vision's up to $10 now. Did not see a reprint. Cranial Plating did see another reprint. We have Crackling Ironworks and Blasting Station that see very, very little play. Eternal Witness also did not see a reprint. That does see some play. And then in the Darksteel, Aether Vial was a rare last time. Did not see a reprint, so it's going to continue to go up. Genesis Chamber is a card that sees play every now and again. But Darksteel Citadel did see another reprint, which I do not know because it just did see a huge reprint in M15. And then out of Mirrodin, we have, as far as Icecrown Scepter, this time around did not get a reprint. Lightning Greaves is still a casual favorite, did not see a reprint. And a few cards out like Molten Rain, I don't believe saw a reprint, so it's $2 and continue to go up. Molten Rain and Wrench Mine are both very, very good cards to pick up here, and Thoughtcast as well. I don't think Thoughtcast saw a reprint, so let's just check right here, which is funny that they didn't decide to print that. They did Darksteel Citadel again, but not Thoughtcast. So yeah, all right, so I guess it just wasn't a keyword for affinity for artifacts. So that Thoughtcast is also another really, really good card. Choke did not see a reprint, and neither did the Urzas. Oh, there we go. The whiteboard Urzas are still around $1.50 a piece. So there's that. And overall, yeah, so there's a lot of room in commons and uncommons. Again, I'll compile that list. Seems like that it's going to be the $5 mark and above that's going to make my top 10 list of cards that were not reprinted. But what I want to do right now is just I want to show you. Let's go to Format Staples. And in Modern, the most played cards, Serum Visions is not seeing a reprint. Path to Exile is seeing an F&M promo. Lightning Bolt Remand did get hit. Gitaxian Probe did not get hit. So you can kind of see right there out of the uncommons. If you go to View More here, it'll show you more of a slot here of cards that missed the mark. Inquisition at number 14. Spell Snare at 16. Core Firewalker. Core Firewalker did not see a reprint at 17. We have the Lava Spike at 20. Mana Leak did see a reprint. Rift Pull at 22. Dispel, it didn't see a reprint, but it's everywhere though. Nature's Claim did recently see a reprint in Conspiracy, so it's still okay. But as far as decks are concerned, we can go to decks. There's two decks that I really want to show you about uncommons and commons. is going to be Burn. So let's take a look at Burn and Grixis Delver and Twin to a point. And then, we'll bring up these ones here. So Burn has a ton of cards like Lava Spike, Rift Bolt, Searing Blaze, and Shard Volley. All are very, very key components to the deck, and none of them saw reprints. Now, Goblin Guide reprint would have kept the price down of Burn, and it did not see a reprint. So unfortunately, Goblin Guide is going to keep some of these cards from going up just because people are going to be a little bit hesitant to get into red without the Goblin Guides. Even though I personally don't think the Goblin Guide is necessary, Goblin Guide can easily be replaced with Hellspark Elemental or Keldon Marauders. Both are very, very are great choices. And Grixis Delver, Serum Visions did not see print or Gitaxian Probe. So there was 2 huge cards that did not see a reprint. Also, Spell Snare did not see one. And Terminate. So there's a lot of room to grow for those in the #1 deck. And then out of Twin, we have, again, Serum Visions. We have the Pestermart and Deceiver Exarch. And Terminate, again, did not see the reprint. Last but not least, we have Affinity that missed a lot of stuff in the form of Memnite, Vault Scourge, Signal Pest. Yeah, Signal Pest and Vault Scourge did not see reprints. So, man, they chose some weird cards like Lithawk Idol and Yuck. There was a lot of cards that just completely missed the mark on that I think that we all expected to be reprinted. So they missed out Vault Scourge, Signal Pest. They missed Inkmoth Nexus. Blinkmoth for some reason was reprinted though. Then they did get Cranial Plating and Galvanic Blast. I believe. Wait, was Galvanic Blast? That one might have actually been reprinted in the format with the Metalcraft. No, they're just all over the place. I don't even understand what they did with the set, but I hope this video, this has been mainly me just rambling. I understand that, and I apologize for being so out of sorts with talking about this. But as I was going through the list, there's just so much that they completely miss. And Modern Masters 1, I didn't feel that way. I think Modern Masters 1, they pretty much addressed a lot of the reprints. So anyway, go check those cards out. Start stockpiling your uncommons and commons. There is going to be some spikes, and especially cards like, again, like the Terminates and the Searing Blazes and cards like that. So this video has gone on for long enough. This has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.